She is the strongest S-rank monster in this game. Anyone who comes within dozens of meters of her instantly explodes and dies. But this man stands before her completely unharmed, and even makes the demon fall in love with him at first sight. So much so that when the infatuated demon is later ambushed and cut in half, her gaze never leaves the man. Turns out this man named Xia Ye is the demon king she speaks of. It all started that year when a game called Earth's Will crossed over into the real world. All monsters and NPCs from different factions descended together, putting the world in grave danger. But fortunately, every human became a game player. Everyone started as a beginner, successfully gaining the ability to fight against monsters. But except for Xia Ye, who clicks the login screen with anticipation, only to find no response at all. Xia Ye senses something is wrong. He's just an ordinary college student, yet encounters something extraordinary at this moment. The system makes a beep 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 sound. The next second, the system displays that player character creation has failed and is exiting the system. After exiting, Xia Ye recalls earlier, he discovered he couldn't even equip a small wooden stick, couldn't gain experience points or level up, and couldn't even open his status panel. Xia Ye falls into deep despair. Ordinary humans cannot survive in this dangerous game world. What should he do? At this moment, a soft laugh comes from somewhere, but Xia Ye is an optimist. Things are what they are. He plans to find a safe place to hide first, so he opens his backpack, sees he only has a few beginner potions left, and falls into thought. He should head to the safe zone first, or maybe borrow a shield from nearby players. Just as Xia Ye is still struggling with what to do, the sky behind him shows something unusual. A sudden thunderous roar comes through. The next second, a terrifying figure appears behind Xia Ye. He looks puzzled. Is this a field boss? When the smoke clears, Xia Ye finally sees clearly that this is Belial, first of the demon lords. She's a level 97 S-rank monster. How could he encounter her? She's wearing way too little. He picks up his phone and takes a photo. At this moment, Belial is looking around, seemingly searching for something. This is the place. This is where the demon king descended. Looking at the convenience store from her memory, Belial excitedly pulls out a portrait. She had drawn the demon king who appeared in her prophetic dream. Looking at the person in the portrait, she's completely infatuated. What a handsome face. I can't wait to meet you. However, nearby adventurers disturb her mood. These adventurers have no idea why such a boss would spawn right in their faces at the start, but Belial won't give them time to think. This is quite unfortunate for them. The next second, she activates her skill Absolute Domain. It spreads hundreds of meters with her at the center. The adventurers' bodies instantly explode. Xia Ye, witnessing this scene, is scared stiff. He tightly covers his mouth, terrified his breath will be detected. However, Belial still notices him. Someone actually survived that attack. She walks straight towards Xia Ye. At this moment, a golden light suddenly appears, striking toward Belial in the shape of lightning. Belial leaps to the other side. A figure appears before her. Belial, you're still so violent. The person who blasted the ground to pieces right at the start has no right to say that. Belial instantly roars furiously. The newcomer is Roland, humanity's strongest warrior, titled Humanity's Hope. Belial points at Roland and demands, "What are you doing here?" "Of course I'm here to ambush the newly born demon king." Though the prophecy gave a vision, he's not sure if this is the place. He's also looking around. Suddenly he sees the convenience store. Looks like this is the right place. However, Belial, fiercely protective, directly enters berserk mode. "I will never allow you to touch the demon king." Then she lashes out with her whip, swinging it at Roland. Facing Belial's continuously swinging whip, Roland dodges with ease. He then summons his weapon. Listening to their intense battle, Xia Ye, hiding behind a rock, keeps questioning his existence. "Who am I? Where am I? I'm so scared." Before long, Belial is beaten down to low health. "You think you can defeat me like this?" Thinking of the demon king, Belial's health bar suddenly surges. Warning, Belial enters phase 2. Attack power increases by 20% and she cannot be controlled. Then she leaps above Roland's head. Die. Roland breaks into a cold sweat. I absolutely cannot be killed by this crazy woman. This is the only way. He pulls something out from his chest and holds it up before Belial. The previously violent Belial instantly freezes in place and becomes completely love-struck. It turns out the portrait that flew off Belial during the battle was picked up by Roland. Roland seizes the moment and slaps Belial hard across the face, coincidentally sending her flying right next to Xia Ye. This scene adds insult to injury for the already vulnerable Xia Ye. Belial shakily sits up and sees her beloved Demon King portrait also destroyed by Roland. At this moment, she reaches unprecedented rage, but just as she's about to go berserk, she turns and locks eyes with a trembling Xia Ye. Xia Ye instantly freezes at this moment, but the next second, the scene changes completely. "My dear Demon King, I've finally waited for you." Before she can finish, a sword flash cuts through. The joyful expression freezes on Belial's face. This blood-splattering scene causes the psychologically fragile Xia Ye to foam at the mouth and faint from fright. After Roland finishes off Belial, he plans to start setting up traps to kill the Demon King the moment he descends and steps on the trap. Besides, a newly born initial-level Demon King must be easy to eliminate. Just as Roland turns to look for the exact location, he happens to see Xia Ye collapsed on the ground. Roland freezes in place. It's as if the air around him has solidified. When did the Demon King descend? He appeared behind me so silently. Roland immediately activates his perception skill. Perception failed. Activates skill enhancement. After Roland enhances his perception skill all the way to level 39. Perception successful. Target level reaches 4 digits. Cannot be detected. Health exceeds limit, cannot be detected. Status cannot be detected. Title World Destroyer. Unprecedented fear sweeps through Roland's entire body at this moment. Never mind that he's at low health now. In this situation, situation, even at full health, he would only have one path: death. At this moment, Roland's life is already flashing before his eyes. Watching Xia Yi slowly stand up, he now has only one thought in his mind: it's over. This is the end. Red flames begin gathering in Xia Yi's hands, and what Roland imagines is, foolish human, how dare you harm Belial? It's over. The Demon King is enraged. The world will be destroyed. However, what appears in Xia Yi's hand is a bottle of red liquid, a beginner health potion. This shocks and confuses the terrified Roland. Xia Yi scratches his head and says embarrassedly, your health is really low, but this is all I have. If you don't mind, want to drink it. Roland looks at the potion bottle in his hand and thinks, this must be poison. He must want to avenge his subordinate. He could easily kill me, yet he tricks me into drinking poison. He must not want me to die so easily. Roland starts imagining again, suffer and struggle in deadly poison. What a despicable Demon King. Looking at the bottle in Xia Yi's hand, he hesitates. To drink or not to drink? If I don't drink, I'll definitely be killed directly. Pretending not to know might give me a slim chance of survival. So he activates attribute enhancement, picks up the bottle and drinks it. Your HP increases by 50%. It's just an ordinary beginner health potion. Xia Yi apologizes innocently. This is really all I have in my bag. Roland clutches his chest like he's narrowly escaped death. That scared me to death. The despicable Demon King dares to toy with me. However, Xia Yi still shouts excitedly, though it's just a beginner potion, at least you're out of critical condition. Roland pauses upon hearing this and checks his health bar. Seems like it's true. Coming to his senses, Roland asks Xia Yi warily, tell me, what do you really want? Xia Yi strokes his chin and thinks, there is indeed a question he wants to ask. How do I get to the nearest beginner safe zone? Roland instantly doubts whether he heard correctly. However, Xia Yi continues talking to himself. You know, the kind of place where low-level people without combat power can slowly learn and grow. Roland seems to understand his intention. So that's it. The Demon King plans to infiltrate the safe zone. That's where all the newly born adventurers are. He must want to kill them all while they're still weak. What a despicable Demon King. But do you think I would betray them just to stay alive? The next second, Roland decides to save his life and leads Xia Yi toward the safe zone, while consoling himself, after all, I'm humanity's irreplaceable hope. Thank you so much, you're such a good person. Roland waves his hand with a bitter smile, then turns and thinks darkly, damn it. Once I get back to the safe zone and contact the higher-ups, I'll find a chance to take you down. Just then, a terrifying demon appears above their heads. Roland immediately picks up his weapon and crushes it. However, more and more monsters appear in the sky. Even at low health, dealing with monsters of this level is still more than enough for Roland. Suddenly, a monster lunges at Xia Yi, roaring at him, saying boss in demon language. Roland watches intently with furrowed brows. Is he going to act? This is the perfect chance to gather combat intelligence. However, the next second, Xia Yi collapses into Roland's arms, trembling. Save me. At this moment, the monster reaches Roland's position. He directly uses the skill burst sword. A huge explosion sounds behind them. Roland looks down at Xia Yi and can't help but complain internally. No matter how vicious the monster attacks, he has no intention of acting. Is this the confidence of a true powerhouse deep down? However, he doesn't notice that Xia Yi is nearly scared to death. He clearly possesses absolutely overwhelming power, yet hasn't discovered that I'm the one destined to kill him in the end. Yet Roland is still immersed in his own world. Looks like I can buy lottery tickets tonight, and might even win big. Thinking of this, Roland remembers there's still someone clinging to him. Can you let go? I really can't walk. Looking at Roland, who saved him despite being at low health, Xia Yi quickly opens his backpack to see what he can use. Everything inside dropped from Belial earlier. Just now, Xia Yi looked at Belial's corpse and asked, can I have these? After learning Roland doesn't need them, he excitedly loots everything. Thanks. Xia Yi picks up a bikini set. This is legendary gear. Suddenly, Xia Yi freezes and quickly waves Roland over. It's actually a book called The Domineering Demon King Fell in Love with Me. The content makes both of them blush. Xia Yi thinks regretfully, if someone else picked these up, they would have taken off. But I can't equip anything. Such good fortune, yet I can't enjoy it. Watching Roland in the distance grinding monsters, he vows to grow as strong as him. However, Roland, having just finished grinding monsters and panting, says, the safe zone is over there. Xia Yi freezes at the scene before him. Meanwhile, on the demon side, after learning of Belial's failure, they're frantic like ants on a hot pan. Should we send someone else to receive the descended Demon King? But only Belial has seen the Demon King's appearance in the prophetic dream. Even Belial failed. How can we find the Demon King? At this moment, a voice interrupts them. The newcomer is Mammon, one of the 7 demon lords. Don't panic, Belial left us a clue before she died. With this, we can all recognize the Demon King. At this moment, Babylon from the 7 demon lords stands and says, your timing is perfect. According to the intelligence demon, after Roland killed Belial, he left the Demon King's descent point with someone by his side. After hearing this, Mammon thinks for a moment. So the person he brought is very likely the Demon King. Babylon takes out a photo showing the appearance of that person sent back by the intelligence demon. He hands the photo to Mammon with both hands. Mammon stares at it blankly for a few seconds, then directly throws the photo into the trash. Good. At least the Demon King wasn't captured by Roland and is still safe. Time is of the essence. Gather all available forces immediately. We must find the Demon King as soon as possible. On the other side, Xia Yi looks at the sea of people with an unstoppable smile on his face. So this is the safe zone. There are so many people. Roland looks at Xia Yi's expression and wants to laugh. This guy's acting is really masterful, but you absolutely can't imagine what you'll face next. This entire Kangqian University city is one giant trap. It's protected by the gods and has a system device called Burkang that can seal all monster monster abilities. Here, even the most powerful monsters become trapped prey. This is the rule of the game. Once he steps into the safe zone, I can kill him. You will die from your arrogance and ignorance, and I will, as the prophecy says, become the hero who leads the players to slay the Demon King. At this moment, a roadside NPC says, "Isn't this Roland, the Demon King Slayer? I never expected the Supreme Roland to visit. We're truly honored. I heard you went to stake out the Demon King's spawn point, wanting to nip him in the bud. Did it go smoothly? Have you already torn him to pieces?" These few sentences nearly scare Roland into losing control of his bladder. He quickly tells the NPC to stop talking, but the NPC doesn't seem to get Roland's meaning. Only now does Xiaoye learn this is Roland's role. Seeing that Xiaoye doesn't know, the NPC proudly begins explaining Roland to him. This is humanity's hope. In the prophecy, he is the one who will kill the Demon King. At this moment, Roland is so scared he's covered in sweat. Then another NPC says to Roland, "Lord Roland, Bertgang has been completed in the safe zone. By the way, Xiaoye, you know about Bertgang, right?" Before he can finish, Roland forcibly interrupts. At this moment, he's completely frantic, terrified Xiaoye will explode. Are you really that eager to let the world be destroyed? Xiaoye watches this scene with envy. The relationship is really good. After scolding the two NPCs, Roland coaxes and tricks Xiaoye toward the system zone. At this moment, Xiaoye is still thinking, it would be great if I could also become a hero, just like him, both powerful and kind. Little does he know this kind person is thinking about taking him down. Just one more step. Once he crosses into this area, it will be the victory of our righteous forces. Xiaoye just reaches the edge of the barrier. Roland forcefully pushes Xiaoye in, shouting, "Bertgang activate. Experience the system's powerful force inside." Xiaoye is startled. What system force? As a result, Xiaoye inside the barrier is perfectly fine. Roland freezes completely. Why? Could it be that Xiaoye is an existence that even the system cannot restrict? Bertgang, which guards the entire city, emits a red light the moment Xiaoye enters. Unable to withstand Xiaoye's powerful force, it instantly develops many cracks. Everyone in the safe zone feels it too, terrified, wanting to know what happened. Are we under attack? NPC 1 says, "Seems like the server lagged for a moment." NPC 2 quickly reassures everyone, "Don't be afraid, it's just a small lag. This is the safe zone. We're all protected by Bertgang. As long as we're within range, we're absolutely safe." By the way, was Bertgang the shape before? In any case, don't be afraid. Roland, humanity's strongest warrior, is here right now. Saying this, he turns wanting Roland to come forward and reassure these players. But in the entire safe zone, only Roland knows what just happened. Without a word, he bent the system's divine artifact into the shape spelling, "I love you." Is this the difference in power? Seeing he doesn't look well, I comfort him. It was just a lag. Thinking, he actually got scared like this. What a cute person. Roland, please pull yourself together. You're humanity's hope. The game has just begun. But in his understanding, this is blatant mockery. Unable to bear it, he asks what I really want. I thought he was going to guide me to do beginner quests. So I say I want to ask him for a small favor. To live in the safe zone, I still need to learn some production skills first. Roland thought I would make some terrifying request, but it turns out to be learning production skills. Roland, you're the hero who will lead players to defeat the Demon King. Right. Actually, my childhood dream was to become a hero, but because of an account bug, I can't level up or equip gear. Since fate arranged for us to meet, it must not want me to give up. Even if I take the production route, I must work hard to become a hero. Are you willing to guide me forward? Roland is shocked and at a loss. Does he have to play it this elaborately? Afterward, he has no choice but to bring me to learn production skills. But the NPC tells me this skill is very expensive. When they see the balance in my backpack, they're shocked. The two NPCs' attitudes completely change and tell me this money is enough to learn the skills, but to quickly raise proficiency, I'm still short a lot. With so many gold coins, it's better to buy equipment and level up faster. I'm too embarrassed to say I can't level up or equip gear. So I turn my gaze to Roland. Roland thinks, not only does the Demon King humiliate me, now does he want to ask me for money. I wouldn't be so pathetic as to stoop to that level, would I? But then again, I'm humanity's hope and can't die this early. So he takes out all the cash on him and gives it to me. But the NPC tells me this money is still not enough. I look at Roland again. He takes off his coat worth 48 gold coins. Still not enough. I look at Roland again. He takes out his sword worth 74 gold coins. Still not enough. I look at Roland again. He takes off his shirt worth 99 gold coins. Still not enough. But now he's completely broke. The NPC reminds Roland, "Don't you have a precious watch?" But that was a coming-of-age gift from his father. However, in the end, he still manages to gather the full tuition from me. Humanity's hope at this moment begins to hate this world. Following the NPC's guidance, I come to the trading center wanting to sell some equipment for money. At this moment, a beginner player is trading at the counter, taking out a mole tail worth 3 copper, and selling all the equipment on him. Watching his sad figure, I sigh. No matter how the world changes, money is still the primary problem. Then I bring the equipment Roland gave me to the counter. The complete set of S-rank items directly stuns the counter NPC. The NPC also feels these equipment pieces look so familiar. Suddenly remembering, aren't these from Roland, humanity's strongest warrior? Then I take out the equipment that dropped from Belial. He knows the value of the previous equipment, so he activates his appraisal skill to check the value of the 2 items I took out next. The result shocks him even more. This is actually Great Demon Belial's horn, and her chest ornament that's practically a divine artifact. This draws dissatisfaction from the previous trader. My heavy armor only got 2 silver coins, but this thin piece of cloth you appraise at over 300 gold coins. What do you know? The thinner these clothes are, the more valuable they are. This is as soft as air, and it's secondhand. Truly a super rare treasure. Seeing I want to sell it, the NPC reminds me this is endgame gear, so he advises me not to sell this equipment. If I sell it it to an NPC, it's equivalent to being recycled by the system and will no longer exist. But I discover it's already bound and can't be traded with other players. The NPC then tells me I can keep it myself. Although wearing it is perverted, it will be an epic leap for oneself. Never mind, perverted or not, I simply can't equip gear at all. So, amid the NPC's helpless tears, I sell it for 955 gold coins. In this world merged with the game, some people's goal is to defeat bosses. Some people's goal is to dominate the arena and stand at the pinnacle of players. Some people's goal is to explore maps and discover infinite possibilities. And my goal is to make a lot of money. Then I can hire people to carry me through team dungeons. Even without combat power, I can participate in defeating the final boss. Just thinking about it fills me with anticipation for the future. Within a few days, I max out the proficiency of the production skills I just learned. After coming out, I tell the NPC my progress is maxed. Since your beginner skills are maxed, prepare to face the nightmare final stage next. I walk past him and casually tell him my Grandmaster level is also maxed. The NPC freezes in place after hearing this. So what if the account has bugs? From today on, I'll take the production route to defeat the Demon King. Next is to handle that important matter of mine. With that thought, I arrive at the party hall. Here, players can freely form parties and choose dungeons. A level 16 professional player catches my attention. His teammate suggests that fighting above their level is too hard and wants to add another person. One more person in the party means one more person splitting experience, idiot. I've calculated that 4 people is optimal for this dungeon. Shinharan reminds them that if anyone holds them back, they'll be kicked and replaced. Even his own sister is no exception. Xiao Yuan quickly says she'll work hard. Please don't kick me. Just as they're about to depart, a pop-up catches his attention. Looking closely, it turns out to be my party request. Thinking, where did this newbie come from trying to leech? After decisively rejecting it, I send him another pop-up. Without thinking, he clicks reject again. Then I send him multiple pop-ups in succession, which he rejects one by one. At this moment, I send him a trade pop-up. He clicks accept to see what trick I'm playing. The system panel shows I've gifted him 10 gold coins. He looks at everything before him in disbelief. He's fought his way to only saving 2 gold and 57 silver until now. And now someone wants to directly gift him 10 gold coins. With this, he can not only learn all current combat skills, but also craft a complete set of excellent equipment, and even increase his leveling speed by more than 5 times. But how could anyone in this world possess 10 gold coins? Thinking, could it be that person ranked first on the leaderboard, the only one stronger than me? Or is this some new type of scam? But who could choose to refuse such a huge temptation? After he clicks confirm, 10 gold coins are indeed deposited. The sudden excitement nearly makes him faint. At this moment, I send him another party request. He gladly clicks accept. I explain that I want to hire them to escort me to my old home to get something, because it's been occupied by level 18 moles and I can't go alone. Luju says they're climbing the rankings and don't have time for this charity work. Shin Haran immediately stands up and criticizes her. When did you become so heartless? For a professional team to go further, compassion is most important. At this moment, Luju only feels the person before her is so unfamiliar. After leaving the hall, Luju can't help but ask why he's leading the team to do such trivial work. Chin Haran simply opens his backpack balance and shows her. When she sees Chin Haran has so many gold coins, she can't help but freeze. Did that newbie just give you all his gold coins? That means he has a treasure worth far more than 10 gold coins to retrieve. And Chin Haran's goal is to get the thing I'm going to retrieve. After hearing their plan, Xiao Yuan hurries to catch up. Chin Haran's plan to rob and kill, Luju says she has no objection. Dark Current says as long as they win, he doesn't care about the process. Xiao Yuan runs over saying she has an objection, but no one cares. Soon our group finishes off the surrounding small monsters and arrives at my apartment building. I tell them my home is on the 6th floor. Chin Haran firmly tells me he will definitely escort me safely to get my things. Then I walk toward the 6th floor in the middle of their formation. Xiao Yuan runs to the front saying something feels wrong here. She's had a very strange feeling ever since entering this building. With their escort along the way, we quickly arrive at my door. Then, as I'm about to take out my key to open the door, Chin Haran also pulls out a dagger and leaps behind me. At precisely this moment, a mutant giant rat rushes down from the ceiling. Everyone quickly dodges backward after seeing it, while also feeling puzzled about why an A-rank monster would appear here. As team leader, Chin Haran quickly counts heads to see if anyone is injured, finally discovering that I, their employer, am missing. In the hole the rat smashed open, I've already fallen through. They fall silent for a moment. Oh no, the boss is going to fall and die. After hearing this, Dark Current dashes toward the hole, ready to go down and save me. Chin Haran tries to stop him but doesn't make it in time. That's not necessary. But coming to his senses, they still need to deal with this creature first. Generally speaking, 3 players can barely kill an A-rank monster of the same level. Though we have a chance against this monster, we'd have to take great risks. Under current circumstances, retreating is the best choice. But after waiting a long time, the monster hasn't attacked. Turns out it just caught the Demon King's scent, and urgently begins searching everywhere for the source of the scent, finally discovering that the person it knocked down is the Demon King. And I'm thinking mid-air, is this how it ends? If I die in a power fantasy story, I should awaken some system. Right, finally I fall to the ground. Not only am I not dead, I don't even feel a bit of pain. But what now? Finally I decide to wait for those experts above to come down and save me. The surrounding monsters, discovering the Demon King has arrived, come out wanting to submit to me. The next second, the ones in front are pinned to the wall by 3 throwing knives, scaring me into standing frozen in place. I immediately raise my guard and ask who's there. Then I discover it's Dark Current who came down to save me. She discovers discovers there's a system air wall where I fell that can't be climbed and can only go up via the stairs she came from. She also tells me to lead the way. Her reason is that as an assassin character, how can she walk in front? That way it wouldn't be mysterious at all. Helplessly, I have to do as she says. Who told her she's the expert? She says from behind she'll definitely protect me, but thinks to herself, men are such foolish creatures. He won't know until he dies that my purpose is to steal the thing he's retrieving on this mission. After saying this, she launches an attack at my back, and I just happen to open my backpack panel, taking out a roast chicken to give her to restore health. She can't believe her lethal strike was blocked by a roast chicken. I say, when I was leveling production skills, I made lots of food. Here, restore your health. Is this knife for eating chicken? Coming to her senses, she quickly pulls back distance, thinking, this man is off. He looks like a weak shorty, but not only can he pull out 10 gold coins, he also has top-tier cooking skills. The food he makes can actually act as a shield and completely block attacks. You should know that strike just now would be impossible for even a same-level warrior to take without injury. That roast chicken must be laced with deadly poison. But in the end, she still can't resist the temptation and starts eating. By the time she comes to her senses, she's already eaten most of it. She only feels a powerful force surging into her body. The next second, not only does her level increase by 5%, but even her skill level and class level increase as well. This isn't roast chicken, it's clearly a cheat code. She once swore to follow the most powerful player. Anyone with this kind of power is far superior to that idiot Chin Haoran. She declares that from now on she belongs to him and will do anything he asks. I think to myself, she's supposed to be a cold assassin, yet she pledges her loyalty for a roasted chicken. Does she have some weird obsession? I tell her she just needs to protect herself properly. After all, I'm the boss who paid. Upon hearing the words the boss who paid, she falls silent. Chin Haoran seizes the moment while the rat monster is dazed and launches a sneak attack. Although this damage doesn't even scratch the rat monster's skin, it feels that after accidentally harming the Demon King, it doesn't deserve to live, so the rat monster chooses to bite its own tongue to death. Chin Haoran never expects that this elite monster dies from his single strike. This creature is a full 6 levels higher than him. The next second, light flares around him as the system announces he's earned the title Peerless Warrior. Equipping it increases his health, attack, and defense by 3%, just as he starts bragging about being the man who one-shot a level 22 monster. Xiao Yuan stares behind him in horror. He feels a chill run down his spine. Before he can react, a paw swats him flying. His health instantly drops by half. He can't understand why a boss monster appears in this level 16 dungeon. Next, the cat demon simply yawns at them and sends both of them flying back into the stone wall. Chin Haoran just suggests he'll draw the monster's attention so they can retreat. Another paw immediately slaps toward him. His defense is absolutely worthless against the cat demon. As his health nears zero, he frantically tells Xiao Yuan to heal him. Xiao Yuan snaps out of her daze and heals him, but the moment he lands, the cat demon follows. The cat demon finds this quite entertaining. It waits for him to recover some health, then swats him again. He never imagined that as a peerless warrior, he'd be toyed with like this. He tells Xiao Yuan to stop healing and just let him die. Even 5 players of equal level might not defeat this boss monster. We need to cover his retreat quickly. But when they turn around, Lu Zhu has already fled to a distant rooftop. Sorry, you two. We teamed up to win, not to die together. Xiao Yuan feels that while this makes sense, it's still too harsh. Just as the cat demon prepares to finish off Chin Haoran with one blow, I hear sounds from inside that seem like my cat. Opening the door, I discover it's indeed Bao Bao. Upon seeing me, Bao Bao shrinks back to normal cat size. The thing I hired them to retrieve is actually Bao Bao. Chin Haoran and Xiao Yuan are completely stunned by this scene. They never expected the dungeon boss to be this weakling's pet. I then go to the kitchen to collect Bao Bao's supplies. Although this development is beyond comprehension, at least they're saved. Thinking I must have many secrets, it seems they need to keep me alive. At this moment, he praises Dark Current for saving me. You're different from certain people. You're my most trusted partner. Come here. I'll reward you with a peerless warrior's hug. But how could he know that Dark Current has been completely won over by me? The next second, Dark Current draws her blade and slashes between them. Both collapse to the ground, blood spurting. How dare you have designs on Lord Xie Ye? You deserve death. Chin Haoran can't understand why his former co-conspirator has turned against him. Dark Current sees he still dares to question, so she decides to stab twice more. You have no idea what kind of being you've offended. When I bring Bao Bao out, she finally understands that the treasure these people coveted is actually my pet cat. In her heart, she regards me as her master, so she bows to Bao Bao, saying from now on they're colleagues. I think this woman's Chunabu tendencies are way too severe. When I turn around, I see Chin Haoran and Lu Zhu lying on the ground, with their intestines spilled everywhere. Having no idea what happened, I'm shocked. Dark Current explains that she came out, saw them gravely injured, and wanted to end their suffering. Chin Haoran suddenly sits up and shouts, he still had 2/3 of his health, what grave injury? Dark Current responds that their intestines are now hanging out. It's too terrible, there's no saving them now. Xiao Yuan hurries forward to heal them both, but the healing can't keep up with the bleeding rate, because Dark Current coated her blade with deadly poison beforehand. Chin Haoran wonders if he, ranked second among humanity, will fall here. At this point, it seems too late for anything. At this moment, I take out bandages made with my maxed production skills. I say, let me give it a try. The two on the ground stare at the bandages in my hand. completely dumbfounded. These are A-rank ghost pattern bandages that restore 36,500 health over 8 seconds. Moreover, first aid skill is the most expensive production skill to level up early on. One bandage heals as much as 5 healing classes of the same level combined. These ghost pattern bandages can even fully restore an 80 level tank's health. But cloth is extremely scarce early on, so no one has resources to level first aid skill. I believe that to survive in this world, life is most important. So I leveled first aid skill first. As I speak, I prepare to hand them the bandages. Shinharan finally realizes how foolish his earlier thoughts were. Someone who casually produces 10 gold coins, turns a dungeon boss into a pet, and possesses master level first aid skill. He dared have designs on such a being. Dark Current initially wants to stop me, but she thinks I want to heal them only to kill them repeatedly, which perfectly satisfies her strange little obsession. The two tremble on the ground seeing this. When they don't move, I hold the bandages in front of them. Shinharan says he doesn't deserve these ghost pattern bandages. Don't be silly. What's more important than life in this world? My words move him to tears, but suddenly he receives my trade request. I wasn't planning to charge, but since you insist, I won't refuse. I then strip both of them of all their money. Don't worry, since I've taken the money, I definitely won't let you die. The next second, I use the ghost pattern bandages on them. He feels a mysterious power wrapping around him, and senses that these bandages don't just bandage wounds, they also heal his filthy, twisted soul. The price is all the money on him. Suddenly their levels all increase by 5%, and their class tiers also advance. Now not only are their injuries healed, but they have new bodies and levels. These must be game modifiers disguised as bandages. Then all three kneel down, completely won over by me. I tell them they still owe me money, with interest at 35% per year. Dark Current imagines I want to torment them through high-interest loans, such a dirty yet exciting method. When we exit the apartment, the system announces our team has cleared the dungeon, since we're the world's first team to clear this dungeon. The system broadcasts this to the world channel. I stare at the notification, stunned. I turn and ask them, we just went into a dungeon? Shinharan doesn't know what I'm thinking and simply answers yes. He adds, didn't you put the dungeon boss on your head as a pet? The announcement quickly reaches Roland, humanity's top fighter. Looking closely, he spots my name. He's completely baffled. He can't understand why the Demon King cleared his own dungeon. When we return to the safe zone, we attract a crowd, because we're the first team in history to clear a dungeon. But soon, Shinharan, ranked second on the player leaderboard, is recognized. That's the professional player who dominated countless game leaderboards and is a 3-time WCG champion. Hearing this, Shinharan confidently displays the title he earned in the dungeon. You have good eyes, but clearing the dungeon wasn't my achievement. He prepares to introduce me to everyone. But before he can speak, a loud shout interrupts. Dark Current immediately raises her guard and asks who approaches. When the person emerges from the crowd, they see it's Lord Roland. He's ostensibly here to congratulate us on clearing the dungeon, but thinks he almost let Shinharan reveal too much. If the Demon King's disguise were exposed publicly, everyone present would be silenced. It seems he, humanity's hope, has saved the world once again. He pauses and explains his purpose. You players are exceptionally outstanding. On behalf of the NPCs, I grant you the highest honors and congratulations. He then pulls out his small whip. Please, brave warriors, follow me. I'll personally present you with medals. Seeing Lord Roland only takes the 4 of them, I realize I didn't do anything. I just paid to hire them, so I probably shouldn't receive a medal. Roland leads them to a corner alley and punches the wall, talking so much. Do you want to die and see what it feels like? This frightens Shinharan into silence, thinking humanity's hope has this kind of personality. Roland then explains the whole situation to them, finally saying my identity is unusual. Can't even you NPCs see his level and class? Roland says firmly, it's not that we can't see it, but because he has none. He's not a player at all. Everyone is shocked. If not a player, then what? Dark Current says quietly from behind, a demon. They all turn to look at Dark Current. To possess such heaven-defying power, it must be a high-level demon. Roland didn't expect this silent girl to have such wisdom. You're right, but he's infinitely more terrifying than ordinary demons. His true identity is actually the Demon King, a being who commands the entire demon race. The other 3 besides Dark Current are greatly shocked. After they calm down, Roland speaks. He's disguised himself as a weakling exploiting a system glitch. From now on, we must treat him as a weakling. To prevent terrible things from happening, we must play along. If we anger him, it could bring about the apocalypse. Now you 4 occupy 4 spots on the leaderboard and, like me, are humanity's hope. Finally, Roland extends his hand, proposing they form a united front, planning to wait for the right opportunity to kill me together. After they reach an agreement with Roland and send him off, Luju asks, are we really cooperating with Roland? Of course not. That was just to fool the NPC. As a professional player, he knows no one in this world can defeat the Demon King. You who abandon teammates in danger, don't talk about being a righteous ally now. In Luju's mind, as long as she wins, she doesn't care about justice or evil. Shinharan turns to ask the other 2 teammates' opinions. Dark Current has long been won over by me. She says as long as you're truly willing to be her master's dogs, continuing to team with them is fine. Shinharan thinks Dark Current wasn't like this when she followed him before. He warns her that next time she attacks teammates, he'll fight back. Zhao Yuan prepares to voice her thoughts, but no one cares about her opinion. Thus, the top-ranked human team joins the Demon King's camp. Meanwhile, the Justice League learns that a team has cleared a dungeon. Seeing humanity develop so rapidly, defeating the Demon King seems imminent. A subordinate reports to the general, there's good news and bad news. The good news is Lord Roland has returned. The general assumes Roland successfully killed the Demon King and returned victorious. The bad news is Lord Roland brought the Demon King back too. The general doesn't understand why he'd bring the Demon King back. Does he want to play some thrilling raising game? Lord Roland says the Demon King's birth wasn't as prophesied. Not a baby in swaddling clothes, but a truly powerful, complete form. He'll explain the details personally to you and other high-ranking members. When Roland, humanity's hope, returns, everyone comes out to greet him. A subordinate leads him to the communications room. The Alliance's high command has been waiting for him, all waiting for his report on the Demon King's current situation. Roland tells them this is a being infinitely more dangerous than anticipated. He can easily twist Bertgang into a heart shape. Can't even the system's divine artifact restrict him? But why doesn't he just destroy Bertgang? Roland says based on his observations. The Demon King is forcing us to tacitly allow him into human society, because every time he shows compromise, the Demon King doesn't take further action, and I've already guessed the Demon King's true purpose for doing this. The High Command praises Roland, truly worthy of bearing the title Humanity's Hope. Even his wisdom is exceptional. They urge him to quickly explain what the Demon King's purpose is. The Demon King's purpose is to dismantle humanity's political system and alliance, thus completely destroying humanity without lifting a finger. The High Command is greatly shocked, feeling Roland's explanation is very reasonable. The Demon King has already begun infiltrating our top human team today. Fortunately, he arrived in time and reached a cooperative agreement with that team, once again saving the world. This also explains why the Demon King would clear his own dungeon to establish his authority and capture people's hearts. Currently, the monsters in this world fall into two categories. One type is Earth's native animals, transformed by the evil force carried by the Demon King's awakening. The other type is the demon race, which comes from the same place as US NPCs. Among these, only the most powerful monsters are designated as boss level. This world's main storyline is the Demon King leading them to destroy the world, then being defeated by human players led by heroes. And dungeons are actually the Demon King's strongholds established on Earth. Everyone is furious after hearing Roland's account. The Demon King won't even spare his own dungeons to achieve his goals. At this moment, someone in an inconspicuous corner voices a thought. Could it be possible the Demon King has amnesia and doesn't know his true identity? Realizing that in this apocalyptic world, safe zone real estate is the scarcest resource. I use the money from selling equipment to buy a building in the city center. This way, at least I have basic living security. Thinking that as a weakling with no combat ability, to survive I must find ways to make more money. Opening my inventory, I find it full of roasted chickens and ghost pattern bandages. And there's also an egg left over from looting the demon boss's equipment that I didn't sell. Now I can either craft items for commission or sell the items already made in my inventory. After a moment's thought, I immediately have an answer. Of course, sell Belial's egg first. Her equipment sold for quite a bit of money before. Her egg must be worth even more. But suddenly I slip. Belial's egg flies out of my hands. After hitting the ground, many tiny cracks appear on it. This startles me. Won't it depreciate if it's cracked? I immediately take out my A-rank ghost pattern bandages and wrap it up, planning to sell it as soon as dawn breaks tomorrow. What I need to do now is order takeout, take a shower, and sleep. After I go to shower, Bao Bao senses something unusual about the egg. At this moment, cracks have spread across the entire egg. The next second, as the shell shatters, a small figure emerges. She wraps the ghost pattern bandages around her body. This is the great demon Belial, one of the 7 demon lords under the Demon King, previously killed by Roland when she came to welcome me. Now, influenced by the ghost pattern bandages, she hatches and is reborn prematurely. Suddenly, she feels hot breath behind her. Turning around, she discovers a massive creature has been watching her for a while. She wonders if she'll be killed again right after reviving. Looking closely, it's Bao Bao. She asks why it's here. Bao Bao asks how she recognizes it. Belial answers that she saw it in a dream. For a long time, I was in slumber having a dream. In the dream, a force showed me a prophecy. After 2 worlds merge, the Demon King will lead an army to destroy humanity. In the dream, you are the creature closest to Lord Demon King, also the great demon James Bao Bao, who commands all demon beasts. Bao Bao finds this interesting and tells her to continue. That force in the dream also told me Lord Demon King's birthplace. After I awakened, I waited to welcome him. In the human world, I kept evading Sky City and Roland's pursuit, but no matter how difficult, I persevered. But I didn't expect to be ambushed by Roland at Lord Demon King's birthplace. She urges Bao Bao to quickly take her to rescue the Demon King. Bao Bao simply tells her there's no need. The Demon King isn't at initial level or an infant state. He doesn't need our protection, because he's now the Demon King in complete form. And his level is at least 4 digits. The exact level, even I don't know, it just appears as garbled characters. Belial then asks about Bao Bao's current level. Lord Demon King has established a link with me. Level doesn't matter to me anymore, meaning you can directly borrow Lord Demon King's power. Lord Demon King was only level 35 when he found me. But after all, we've spent years together day and night. His favor toward me is understandable. After hearing this, Belial resolves to work hard from now on. Then Bao Bao tells her something important, that Lord Demon King is currently going undercover among humans. Belial thinks Lord Demon King must want to destroy humanity's political system and alliance, thus completely defeating humanity without effort. Truly worthy of Lord Demon King, possessing the power to obliterate the world in one strike, yet choosing to slowly savor it all. Bao Bao reminds her, now we need to cooperate with him pretending to be a useless weakling. Hearing about role-playing, Belial becomes even more excited. Since Lord Demon King specifically rescued your egg from humans, he must have deep foresight. At this moment, I seem to hear someone talking in the living room. I dry myself off and come out to look. I see a small figure standing beside Bao Bao on the table. Master, you're back. After learning she hatched from an egg dropped by a field boss. I originally planned to sell her for money, so I say I have other ways to make money. I tell her to explain in detail. The next second, she begins to slowly grow larger, her body radiating dazzling golden golden light. At this moment, outside the window, my takeout delivery arrives. Belial has also returned to normal size, riding on top of me. This scene is witnessed by the delivery person outside the glass. Then I receive affirmation from the delivery person. He then quickly sets down the food and hurries away. I can't be bothered to explain to this kind of NPC. I continue asking Belial what good money-making method she has. From her, I learn she has a special ability. She says she'll demonstrate it right now, as she chants silently. A pair of horns actually regrows on her head. Then she kneels on the bed and offers these horns to me with both hands, telling me to take them and sell them for money, and adds that her horns can regrow new ones every day. She begs me not to sell her. I quickly step forward and help her up. Touching my heart, I say, "Silly girl, how could I bear to sell someone as cute as you?" From now on, I adopt Belial as my second pet, although she needs to eat 3 roasted chickens daily. But when she transforms into mini form, she only needs 3 crackers. So from now on, except when harvesting horns, I'll keep her in mini form. Belial then asks what my next plan is. Bao Bao's heart trembles. Asking directly like this would expose Lord Demon King's disguise. The normal gameplay is for players to level up and challenge dungeons, but due to a system glitch, I can't level up or equip gear, so I just need to survive. I understand, stay put and observe how things develop, but at the same time, accumulate enough wealth so I can hire other teams to carry me through dungeons later. I originally planned to make money by selling equipment through my max production skills, but it's still early game. Others can't afford such expensive items. So Belial, you're very important to me now. Being valued so highly by Lord Demon King, her heart blooms with joy. In my eyes, her daily regrowing horns are a continuous source of income. The next morning, I harvest Belial's newly grown horns to sell for money. She stands on the small balcony watching my retreating figure, thinking how wonderful it is to help Lord Demon King. At this moment, Bertgang at the safe zone's center emits dazzling light. This signals another high-level NPC descending to Earth. He is Bishop Pucci of the Moxie Church, the second high-level NPC to descend to Earth after Lord Roland. Roland leads many NPCs to greet him. With Pucci's addition, humanity's counterattack can begin. Once other high-level NPCs descend successively, defeating the Demon King will be just around the corner. Pucci sees them and smirks contemptuously. He thinks Roland is making a mountain out of a molehill. Roland's face darkens and he asks what he means. Pucci believes the prophecy says the Demon King would be born as an infant. How strong can a baby be? That's why the organization agreed to let you descend to Earth first for assassination. This talk of the Demon King being too powerful is just your excuse for failure, Roland. He even says to Roland's face that he doesn't deserve the title Humanity's Hope. At this moment, an NPC rushes in urgently, reporting that an 89-level monster has appeared south of the safe zone. It calls itself a dragon, but is actually a mutated lizard. It has destroyed 8 outposts, causing over 4,000 player casualties and 89 NPC deaths, requesting Lord Roland to quickly provide support. Upon learning this, Roland immediately sets out. Before leaving, he warns Pucci, the Demon King is thousands of times stronger than imagined. Just as he prepares to leave, he assigns the task of monitoring the Demon King's movements to NPC number 007. This mass-produced NPC never imagined he'd receive such an important task. He asks Roland if he wants him to tail the Demon King. Idiot. The Demon King's power is immense. Tailing him would definitely be discovered. Just have 007 go directly and ask the Demon King. But if we ask directly, he won't voluntarily tell us, right? Roland pulls out a red gift box for him to take along. 007 holds it, thinking, is this the legendary gift-giving human speak of? Roland also tells him this contains his family's treasured Holy Maya Dragon Claw, and says he's already obtained his father's consent. 007 didn't expect such a precious item would be given away. And from Lord Roland, humanity's hope himself, this is far too humble. Finally, he tells 007 to prevent the Demon King from harming civilians while he's away. However, all their conversation is overheard by Pucci on the balcony. He can't help but lament how pitiful humanity's hope has fallen like a character in a comedy manga. After Roland drives away, 007 secretly resolves to complete the mission. Just as he gets on his bicycle to go, he's suddenly stopped by a voice. Looking up, it's Bishop Pucci calling him. After coming down, Pucci says he'll go with him too. He wants to see with his own eyes just how powerful this so-called invincible Demon King is. The two then arrive at my doorstep. Pucci initially thinks they found a room in this building to contain the Demon King. Then he looks at the garden around the building's perimeter. These green belts are quite spacious, establishing a safety distance to prevent him from harming others in the safe zone. I must say, you've considered this quite thoroughly. 007 tells him the entire building has been purchased by the Demon King, including the garden you just pointed at, Bishop Pucci. After hearing this, Pucci nearly wets himself. A legendary tier equipment sells to shops for 680 gold coins. Could that buy such a mansion in the safe zone center? This is obviously wrong. 007 tells him that Belial is the second to last boss of the game's final dungeon. Equipment she drops theoretically wouldn't be obtained by players in early game. A mansion that costs less than 1,000 gold in early game, but in late game would cost at least 756,035,412,663 gold coins. Pucci truly can't understand. What kind of Demon King would come to human territory to invest in real estate? Is it to raise funds in advance for building a world-destroying army? He didn't expect the Demon King to have such economic acumen. He then tells 007 to have the Demon King come out to greet him. 007 tells Pucci to just watch from afar and absolutely not make any dangerous moves. A mere mass-produced NPC dares order me around? When I return to Sky City, I'll report Roland's indulgence of the Demon King King to my superiors. When he turns around, 007 has already disappeared. Then he sees 007 holding the Holy Maya Dragon Claw, not for the Demon King, but to curry favor with one of the Demon King's small minions. 007 presents the gift box, saying Lord Roland asked him to bring this for you. Bao Bao can't remember who Roland is for a moment. Pucci thinks Roland's brain must be broken, using his family's treasure to please this creature that eats, sleeps, and licks its rear. Bao Bao thinks, to cooperate with Master's infiltration of humanity, might as well chat with them for a bit. Asks, is that the guy who bullies the weak and is harsh on subordinates? Bao Bao has mistaken Chin Haran for Roland. 007 thinks and says, yes, that's him. He then presents the Holy Maya Dragon Claw. Bao Bao takes it and adds a twig to use as a back scratcher. 007 thinks, how powerful must one be to use a legendary tier item as a back scratcher? Pucci on the side can't stand watching anymore. This creature that doesn't know its place, without teaching it a lesson, it really thinks it's superior. Just as he prepares to launch Holy Light Judgment on Bao Bao, Bao Bao tells them whatever they have to say can wait. 007 is about to ask Bao Bao if the Demon King has any plans to destroy the world lately. Bao Bao interrupts, saying it suddenly has some work. Pucci turns to look at the sky and discovers something flying toward the city. Looking closely, it's that monster from before. How did this monster appear here? Didn't Roland go to intercept it? Where is he? Just a few minutes ago, the dragon flew in the sky while Roland chased on the ground. The dragon kept flying. Roland kept chasing. When nearly catching up, Roland leaps from his vehicle, then draws his sword to strike the dragon. The dragon senses this and swings its tail to counterattack Roland. Although Roland blocks this strike, the powerful impact sends him crashing back to the ground. But he quickly stands up and continues the pursuit. But by now the dragon has flown far away. After flying away, the dragon heads directly above the safe zone full of newbies. It declares it has no interest in the strong and only enjoys bullying weaklings. 007 sees the dragon nearly reaching the ground and urgently asks Pucci what to do. Pucci tells him not to worry. This is a safe zone with system protection provided by Bertgang. But turning to look, Bertgang has been twisted into a heart shape. Bishop Pucci, you arrived late so you might not know. In the first episode, Lord Roland forcibly activated Bertgang's system sanctions against the Demon King, which caused it to become like this. Now without system protection, all the low-level players in the safe zone will die. The next second, the dragon launches a devastating strike toward the ground. At the same time, Bao Bao's eyes glow as it looks toward the sky. Looking up, it fires an ordinary light cannon at the dragon. This ordinary light cannon instantly vaporizes the dragon to dust. Roland, still pursuing the dragon, can't believe his eyes witnessing this. 007 and Pucci's jaws drop seeing Bao Bao instantly obliterate that level 89 monster with one strike. After completing all this, Bao Bao sits down and tells them to continue their earlier conversation. What were you going to ask just now? At this moment, 007 still hasn't recovered from the shock. Pucci is grateful his earlier attack didn't launch, thinking the gods are truly protecting him. He then hastily presents his family's generational crucifix to Bao Bao, along with his hometown property deed and his pension account. Then he gestures to 007. Whatever intelligence you want, ask quickly. Seeing their sincerity, Bao Bao tells them to ask whatever they want. We just want to ask if you have any plans to slaughter the safe zone lately, or any world destruction activity plans, so we can mentally prepare in advance. Pucci didn't expect 007 to ask so directly. Even more unexpected, Bao Bao actually says not for now, Lord Demon King just wants to make some money in the short term. Are you done asking? 007 says yes, then withdraw. Pucci can't believe that Roland's family treasure plus his ancestral crucifix plus a Sky City apartment and all his future pension, all for just this one question. Meanwhile, 007 is super satisfied because he perfectly completed Lord Roland's assigned task, at least confirming the world won't be destroyed today. In the evening, I return home with the gold coins earned from selling Belial's tentacles. I see Bao Bao sitting alone at the front door. I call out for this stupid cat to come back inside with me. Once we're back inside, Bao Bao doesn't use the litter box again. I happen to turn around and catch him in the act. I've told you so many times to do your business in the box. The next second, I grab his tail and fling him out. I open the door, toss him outside, and tell him he's sleeping out there tonight. Just as I close the door and return inside, Belial approaches, ready to attend to my rest. But I tell her there's no need for that. She floats in the air, her entire body enveloped in light. The next second, she transforms back into her miniature form. Then she happily cuddles my ear and falls asleep. This leaves my pet cat outside the door, sleepless through the night. As the night passes, Bao Bao's tears run dry. When I wake up, I find Belial still sleeping. Suddenly, I realize she actually looks quite pretty like this. Then I notice something under the pillow. I pull it out and discover it's a diary. Who knew these little pets in the game could even write diaries? The front pages are filled with expressions of love for Lord Demon King. Looks like she really adores that Demon King. As I flip further back, I find descriptions of her battles with Roland, and the writing is extremely violent and graphic. A chill runs down my spine as I read. When I flip to the next page, I see an extremely gruesome photo. Terrified, I quickly put her diary back. I almost forgot she's actually a terrifying demon. After I leave, Belial stops pretending to sleep. She deliberately left the diary exposed so Lord Demon King would see it, conveying through her diary the love she cannot speak aloud. As a result, that very night, I toss her outside to spend the night. Then I bring Bao Bao back onto the bed. Right now, I still think Bao Bao is the best. Belial stands alone outside, hearing the cheerful sounds from within. She can't understand why. Meanwhile, the strongest human squad discusses which side to join on a rooftop. Lord Jiayi not only healed our injuries, but also boosted our levels, attributes, and classes. seconds. This is something only a cheat could accomplish. In other words, we need to become the Demon King's lackeys. We're choosing the right team. At this moment, Xiao Yuan tells everyone to look at the sky. Something seems to be flying toward us. It's too far away to make out what it is. Lu Zhu activates his class skill, Gunner's Eye. He sees a demon with a small, childlike appearance but an extremely high level. They don't know that the approaching figure is one of the 7 demon lords, the level 101 boss-tier demon Babylon. Since her subordinates have been unable to locate Lord Demon King, she's decided to go in person this time. Since Lord Demon King's disappearance is related to Roland, she plans to capture Roland and interrogate him. Lu Zhu sees that Babylon's heading toward the safe zone. She must be looking for the Demon King. Since Jin Horan chose to join the Demon King's faction, he and Babylon are technically colleagues now. He immediately wants to establish good relations and prepares to greet Babylon. As Babylon rushes forward, she notices what seems to be people ahead. Taking a closer look, she sees 4 human players. She thinks they must have learned of her coming and set up an ambush. But when she sees their levels, she can't help feeling puzzled. The server has been open for less than 3 days, yet someone is already at level 24. Such geniuses must be eliminated in their cradle. She changes direction and launches a flying kick straight at Chin Haran. Chin Haran sees her flying toward him and gives her a friendly greeting. He's about to ask if she's looking for Lord Demon King, but before he can finish speaking, a kick slams into his abdomen. The impact sends Chin Haran flying back to another building. After Babylon lands, Lu Zhu is about to explain, but the next second she's already in front of her. Without letting her speak, another kick strikes her abdomen. She's also sent flying hundreds of meters by the powerful impact. Seeing this, Xiao Yuan quickly casts a healing spell on Lu Zhu, but Babylon doesn't give her the chance. Just as she's about to take out Xiao Yuan in one hit, a figure appears and blocks the strike. Babylon can't imagine what could possibly block her attack. Looking closely, she sees it's Dark Current, the assassin. Dark Current tells her to let people finish speaking first. Meanwhile, Babylon wonders if assassins can even use shields. Even with a shield, it shouldn't be possible to block that attack head on. When the light fades, she finally sees the weapon in Dark Current's hand. It's actually a roasted chicken. Meanwhile, Chin Haran, thanks to his scoundrel class passive, can immune 1 lethal attack. The cooldown is 30 days. Getting up, he tells Dark Current to explain quickly. Dark Current tells Babylon, this isn't just a roasted chicken. Then what is it? It's a gift from Lord Xia Ye. It's proof of Lord Xia Ye's favor. As she speaks, she continuously attacks Babylon with the roasted chicken I gave her. Then she retreats several meters back, gathering her power. She launches a rapid slash forward. Babylon sees the situation turning bad and instantly retreats hundreds of meters back. Dark Current raises the roasted chicken in her hand, calling this ultimate strike the Oath of Victory strike. As the strike lands, a terrifying mark is left on the ground. This seemingly ordinary roasted chicken actually managed to knock back a level 101 greater demon. Lord Xia Yi must have foreseen this crisis and granted me such a treasure. After watching all this, Chin Haran is left speechless. If you have time for all those dramatic lines, just explain the situation clearly. We're also part of the Demon King's faction. You only needed to say that one sentence. Meanwhile, Babylon took some damage due to carelessness. She never expected a player under level 30 to possess such power. Could they be using hacks? No, I still haven't found Lord Demon King. I absolutely cannot fall here. With that thought, she erupts with towering power. She enters the boss's second phase directly. Percent of her reason is lost. All attributes increase by 120%, and her entire body is now encased in armor. We absolutely can't let her enter berserk mode, or we'll truly be unable to communicate. Chin Haran dashes forward and rushes in front of Babylon. He shouts that he knows where the Demon King is. Meanwhile, I'm giving my pet Bao Bao a massage, when I happen to see Babylon outside the window, transformation complete. Looking at her silhouette, it seems somewhat familiar. Bao Bao says she might have seen it in some anime, but Babylon doesn't know that the first human squad has already defected to the Demon King's faction. As captain, Chin Haran quickly has Xiao Yuan explain to her. Then Xiao Yuan tells Babylon about how I healed their wounds with a ghost pattern bandage that day, and how the bandage even boosted their levels. From that moment on, they decided to submit to my overwhelming power. After hearing this, Babylon falls into a deathly silence. Not only are you cheating, now you're trying to lie to me too? At least make up a story with some logic. With that, she prepares to take them all out with one punch. At this moment, Chin Haran quickly pulls out a photo, saying he has evidence. He explains that the person in the photo with them is Lord Demon King. Babylon pulls out the portrait of the Demon King that Belial drew for comparison. Finding it completely different from the photo, she becomes furious. She directly enters the boss's third phase. Not only does her size increase by 1,500%, her attack range increases by 2,000%, and she completely loses all reason. Damned humans dare to use cheats and ambush Miao. Level everything within 100 miles to the ground. Seeing that negotiation is useless, Chin Haran calls for Dark Current to block, but he didn't expect that the roasted chicken I gave them is single use. It's already beginning to dissipate. At the same time, he receives a notification that Lu Zhu has left the party. Just as Babylon's attack is about to land, a laser beam suddenly appears and neutralizes it. Everyone looks up toward where the laser came from. They discover it's my pet cat riding on Belial. Bao Bao comes before Babylon and shouts for the ally to stop. Your rampage here will ruin Lord Demon King's plans. But Babylon acts as if she hasn't heard, entering berserk mode. Then she unleashes concentrated firepower at Bao Bao. Bao Bao can only dodge while trying to explain. Lord Demon King is currently disguised as a human, infiltrating the safe zone. He's preparing a far-reaching strategy and plan. If you just stop, I can take you to see Lord Demon King right now. But Babylon continues attacking as if she still hasn't heard. Because from her perspective, she only sees an orange cat going meow meow meow. At this point, Bao Bao is starting to lose patience. He extends his paw, revealing his sharp claws. The next second, he actually catches Babylon's laser with his bare paws, and even reflects the laser back at her. The resulting explosion engulfs hundreds of kilometers around them. The shockwave even reaches the center of the safe zone, but I only feel a refreshingly cool breeze. Holding the 12 gold coins accumulated from selling horns, I feel quite content. Another peaceful day indeed. Meanwhile, Babylon has been struck into losing all combat ability. Belial follows Bao Bao down into the crater. She asks if Babylon can listen properly now. With only a sliver of health remaining, Babylon says she doesn't understand cat language at all. Only then does Bao Bao remember he forgot to switch languages. He turns to ask Belial why she didn't remind him. But Belial is so immersed in playing her role that she's forgotten she can speak. Babylon sees that Belial is actually still alive and asks her to help rescue Lord Demon King. And while they're at it, blow this safe zone to smithereens. I see you really do have a death wish. Meanwhile, as Qin Haoran celebrates surviving once again, Lu Ju, who previously betrayed and fled, flies back. He can't help but recall how he only survived Bao Bao's wrath thanks to Lord Demon King back then. He can't imagine that an overweight house cat is actually an unfathomably powerful monster. Turning around, he sees Dark Current still immersed in grief over losing the roasted chicken. By now, Bao Bao has explained the whole situation to Babylon, but when I return home, I find Bao Bao missing, and Belial is nowhere to be found either. Just as I'm thinking something might have happened to them, my doorbell suddenly rings. I check the monitor and see it's the guy who helped me run that dungeon last time. After opening the door, I thank them tearfully for saving Bao Bao once again, and for bringing them back. They think I'm acting again and just play along. I tell Qin Haoran he can just call me Ai. From now on, we're best friends. Then I invite them all to come in and sit. At this moment, Qin Haoran says they've brought me a little pet as a gift. With that, he pulls out Babylon in her miniature form. The moment Babylon sees me, her eyes light up. They say she's a little pet for me. Seeing another demon, I can't help but think of Belial's bloody diary. So I say my current conditions are a bit tough and I can't afford another pet. Why don't you keep her for yourselves? Babylon can't suppress her sadness and disappointment at being rejected by Lord Demon King. After finally meeting the Demon King, she must find a way to stay by his side, so she offers me her horns. A great demon's horns can fetch a good price right now, and she says her metabolism is fast. She can produce 3 sets a day. Looking at her sincere eyes, I think for 2.5 seconds. I decisively accept her as a pet. Tell everyone to come in and sit down. Just like that, Babylon joins this family, same as Belial. But the moment they step into my home, they suddenly feel a terrifying, oppressive aura. I think they're overwhelmed by how many things I have in my home. So I explain these are just some basic weapons I made while practicing forging. After hearing my words, Qin Haoran breaks out in a cold sweat. Any one of these would be an invincible weapon in the current game. Then I introduce them to some armor pieces and some puppets I made while practicing sculpting. Qin Haoran and the others think this isn't a home, it's practically an armory. Next, I tell them I originally wanted to sell these at the trading post, but selling cheap means losses and selling expensive means no buyers. So I have no choice but to pile them up at home. Take whichever ones you like, but only the basic ones in the living room. I'm planning to try selling the intermediate and advanced ones later. Qin Haoran can't believe these weapons are only considered basic in my eyes, but thinking carefully, even the roasted chicken given to Dark Current could repel the great demon Babylon. So equipment forged seriously, being heaven-defying isn't really surprising. So he politely says, how could we possibly take these? True, the rewards you get from killing monsters must be much better than what I make. Just as they're about to sit down, they notice even the sofa has demonic energy. I tell them that sofa is also handmade by me. Don't be shy, please sit. After Qin Haoran sits down, he realizes almost everything in my entire house is a demonic artifact. Could it be the entire building beneath their feet has become a demonic artifact? Even the water Belial just brought over seems to contain powerful evil magic. I tell them this is because I wanted to save on water bills, so I dug a well in the backyard, and I named it the Eternal Well. Qin Haoran doesn't dare imagine just how powerful I really am. Just by simply naming a well, it actually became the Eternal Well containing powerful magic. Previously, he was still hesitating about joining the Demon King's faction. At this moment, it's completely clear. This being before them is simply too powerful. Only by having him accept their allegiance can they survive in this world. After letting them take a sip of tea, I speak up. I heard there was an intense battle not far from the safe zone. Was that the one where you guys captured Babylon? Hearing this, Qin Haoran worries the Demon King might blame him. How impressive such an intense fight. Qin Haoran thinks I'm reproaching them, so scared he's stammering and can barely speak. I immediately follow up saying fortunately the outcome was good. How wonderful that you survived and can drink tea here with me. Qin Haoran thinks I'm praising him for coming to report immediately, so he says he came without delaying even a minute. So I want to congratulate you on surviving. Hearing this, Qin Haoran thinks I've accepted their allegiance. He secretly rejoices. After having them take another sip of tea, I ask Dark Current if she's already eaten the roasted chicken I gave her last time. She thinks Lord Demon King clearly knows every detail of the earlier battle. He knows she's already used the Oath of Victory strike. Seeing that she has indeed eaten it, I say I still have quite a few left. Keeping them just takes up space, so I'll share some more with you. With that, I give Dark Current another 20 max level roasted chickens, and I give everyone present 20 each, to generously bestow such precious treasures upon us. Lord Demon King, I will never disappoint your favor, and I won't allow them to disappoint either. Qin Haoran feels a chill down his spine from her gaze, afraid she might backstab teammates again someday when she's unhappy. At this moment, the doorbell suddenly rings. From the door monitor, I see it's Roland, humanity's strongest NPC. He heard there was a small skirmish outside just now, and came specifically specifically to check in. Seeing this, I quickly open the door to welcome him. Just as Roland is about to enter, he suddenly sees Belial in my bag. He thinks, didn't I kill Belial back then? Why is she here? And there's even another one. Looking down, he also discovers this entire building has become a demonic artifact. When he enters the living room, he finds it's filled with all kinds of high-grade war supplies. He thinks I'm definitely preparing to destroy the world. He's already turned this entire building into a base. Could it be that his side did something wrong and upset the Demon King? Finally, he resolves that he must keep me stable. After Roland enters, he finds the first human squad here too. He thinks they actually noticed the Demon King's anomaly before him and have already come to the Demon King's home to gather intelligence. Truly worthy of being the first human squad. How excellent. Let's work together to stop the Demon King's world-ending plan. Finally, he gives Chin Haoran a meaningful look. But what Roland doesn't know is that this so-called first human squad has already defected to the Demon King's faction. Since they just had a big battle with the demon race, I kindly try to comfort them. But Roland thinks I'm deliberately mocking them. This world is so interesting. I really don't want it destroyed like this, but I'm powerless. It's up to you all to work hard and save this world. Roland thinks I want to destroy the world because I'm too bored. Then, after some internal struggle, he asks if I find elves interesting enough. I'm slightly shocked. This game actually has elves? Roland says he knows of an unopened area called the Ancient Elven Kingdom. If we search there, we should be able to find some. Hearing this, my curiosity is immediately piqued. If there's a chance, I'd really like to see what elves look like. Seeing my interest, Roland says he'll go catch one for me. Chin Haoran thinks, what a show this is, Roland. Humanity's hope is being so humble before the Demon King. Seeing Roland think so highly of me, I'm quite happy, but I know I'm just a noob. If you want to forge humanity's future, you should really be looking to him. With that, I turn my gaze to Chin Haoran beside me and say they're currently the strongest human squad. Chin Haoran thinks I've misunderstood his relationship with Roland and is about to explain, but Roland cuts him off first. Worthy of being Mr. Xia, nothing escapes your notice. Have indeed established deep cooperation with the first human squad. Having just joined the Demon King's faction, Chin Haoran now wants to kill Roland. Since it's been discovered, there's no need to hide it anymore. Clearly, I don't understand what Roland means by that. But he immediately says he'll go together with Chin Haoran and them. They'll definitely cooperate perfectly to achieve their goal. Hearing this, I laugh heartily. I knew you all were made for each other. Then I see them all out the door. As the door closes, Chin Haoran looks like he swallowed something foul. He thinks he's been completely mistaken by the Demon King as the enemy faction. Roland thinks he's been frightened by the Demon King's evil and arrogance. The Demon King noticing our cooperation can't be helped. As long as we bring back an elf, there's still hope. Before he can finish, Chin Haoran punches the wall behind him. You did that on purpose, didn't you? Roland looks completely confused. I don't know where you get the nerve to speak to me like this, but Chin Haoran dares to be so bold because he has his own trump card. With that, light begins gathering in his palm. The next second, he pulls out the roasted chicken I gave them. What Roland doesn't know is that these roasted chickens were made with my max level production skills. But Roland thinks he's trying to curry favor, so he says he's not hungry. His teammates step forward to mediate, but he interrupts them. He knows he can't actually conflict with Roland, or it would ruin Lord Demon King's plan to infiltrate humanity. Roland doesn't understand why they're unhappy. They should feel honored to cooperate with him, humanity's strongest warrior. Then he reveals his plan. Enter the unopened map, catch an elf, and present it to the Demon King to delay the Demon King's world destruction plan. Listen to this. Does any of it sound like something a good guy would say? At this moment, Xiao Yuan reminds Chin Haoran, Lord Demon King seemed to intentionally want us to cooperate with Roland. Then they open a private channel to communicate. Actually, Lord Demon King might have just said it casually. But he's the Demon King. Every word and action concerns the world's fate. How could he joke around? I get it, Lord Demon King wants us to find a chance to take out Roland directly. Do you think we level 20s can beat level 101 Roland? Seeing they've finished discussing, Roland asks if they'll cooperate, and says all experience, equipment, and gold along the way will go to them. Chin Haoran thinks they can only cooperate with Roland for now, so he agrees. But there's no need to shake hands, because he's afraid Lord Demon King might misunderstand again. I watch from the balcony as they leave together, thinking how wonderful they seem to really like each other. I must cling tight to these two powerful allies, Roland and the first human squad. Otherwise, when I run into trouble, I won't know who to turn to for help. I'm such a genius. Behind me, my pets think, though we don't know what Lord Demon King is doing, he truly is a genius. Soon, Roland and the others arrive at the ancient Elven Kingdom. Even Roland, the strongest NPC, doesn't know what's behind this door. The only certainty is that the monsters inside far exceed the current version's level. They might even be higher level than the demons that descended to Earth. Roland begins explaining the game's lore to them. The so-called elves were a branch race that once existed in our world besides humans and demons. Seeing their clueless expressions, Roland asks, the main storyline explains all this? Didn't you watch it? Of course we skipped all that to rush our progress. Otherwise, how could we get ahead of others to become the first squad? Roland explains that humanity's skills and technology all come from the Moxie deity. Humanity and the brutal demon race have been at war for thousands of years. During this time, other races competing with humans and demons for resources gradually went extinct. But actually, there was one race that could contend with both humans and demons. The elves, who could wield the power of nature. That was a powerful energy that could tip the balance. However, the elven princess wouldn't submit to either side. She sacrificed herself and sealed the elven power. To this day, elves have become legendary creatures. Behind this door is where the elves once lived. But whether there are actually probably elves inside, even Roland can't be certain. Chin Haoran says to Roland again, the warnings are literally breaking through the dialogue box. We're what level and you want to take us where? Why not just take us to heaven? Roland pulls out the family heirlooms he brought. With these powerful weapons, we can definitely defeat the enemies. And so, humanity's hope, in order to please the Demon King, prepared a bunch of evil items and led a group of sneaky players into a restricted area to catch elves. Roland just finished saying try not to enter combat, when Xiao Yuan behind him steps on a trap. The next second, a level 102 elite monster appears before them. It speaks, warning Roland not to disturb the elves' slumber. If you leave now, I can spare your lives. Hearing this, Xiao Yuan immediately starts apologizing, and says it's all her fault, they can do whatever they want to her. As humanity's top warrior, Roland naturally fears nothing. He tells them all to step back, watching the others quickly retreat several meters, though he asks them to. There's still a tinge of disappointment, but dealing with the monster is more urgent right now. So he pulls out his family heirloom, the S-rank demon item, Hell Breakthrough module. After use, it increases all attributes by 30% for 5 minutes, but afterward, he enters a 30-second weakened state. Enhanced, Roland draws his sword and attacks the monster. Everyone watches as he actually manages to suppress this boss. But why is humanity's hope using demon items? Xiao Yuan originally wanted to go help, but turning around, she finds Qin Haoran already lying down. Meanwhile, Roland, relying on the Hell Breakthrough module, beats the boss without giving it a chance to fight back. Just as the boss has 1 drop of health left and he's about to deliver the final blow, Roland's buff time ends and he enters the weakened state. The scene falls into awkward silence, but the boss quickly reacts. First, a punch sends Roland crashing to the ground. Then it pulls out its 20-meter hammer. It lightly slams it down on Roland. Xiao Yuan cries out, if we don't save him now, he'll really die. Just as the boss prepares to strike a second time, a figure appears, blocking Roland. Roland looks up and sees it's actually Qin Haoran. You should know you're no match for it. And why are you pulling out the roasted chicken again? Qin Haoran doesn't answer him. He grabs the roasted chicken I gave him and charges at the boss. Roland thinks Qin Haoran is trying to bribe the boss with food. He shouts for him to come back. Though the method is creative, haven't you noticed the boss and the roasted chicken are both birds? Meanwhile, the boss sees Qin Haoran is only level 26 and feels contempt. After rushing forward, Qin Haoran first uses the roasted chicken to enhance himself. Then he lightly swings the roasted chicken at the boss, directly cleaving it in two. Seeing this, Roland's eyes are filled with disbelief, worthy of being a divine artifact bestowed by Lord Demon King. Such an incredible treasure, and he gave us 20 each. After Roland gets up, he still acts tough, saying he could have done it after enduring the weakened state. He's very confident in his ability to take hits. Next comes collecting the rewards for killing the boss. Roland said beforehand that all items would go to Qin Haoran and them. After opening it, Qin Haoran finds not only many gold coins, but also essential materials for late-game equipment enhancement. But compared to the roasted chickens Lord Demon King gave, these are just trash. He increasingly feels how lucky he is to be Lord Demon King's lackey. At this moment, Roland suddenly falls into thought. Then he steps forward and asks, that item just now was so powerful it's clearly no ordinary thing. Where did it come from? It couldn't be from the Demon King, could it? The atmosphere instantly drops to freezing. At this moment, Xiao Yuan steps forward nervously and says, we found a rare treasure chest while leveling. Just insert 999 copper coins, and you can get rare items. Qin Haoran anticipated Roland would ask about the item's origin, so he prepared an excuse in advance. But Lu Ju thinks, finding an item on a level 20 map that can easily kill level 100 monsters, only an idiot would believe such an absurd lie. With that, he prepares to pull out his roasted chicken and enter combat. Roland remains silent for a moment. Then he tells them to divide the rewards while he goes ahead to scout. Seeing Roland actually believe this explanation, they think, is he really an idiot? After Roland leaves, Qin Haoran speaks up. For Lord Demon King to give us such powerful items is truly unusual. Their eyes meet in the air as if seeing through everything. It seems Lord Demon King really wants to keep an elf, which is why he gave us items to help kill monsters. Because the difficulty of this map was all within the Demon King's expectations. He knew from the start we couldn't win on our own, so we must find an elf to show Lord Demon King our sincerity. At this moment, Xiao Yuan watches them from behind, a mysterious smile on her face. After they walk forward a bit more, a level 108 boss appears, blocking their path. Without a word, everyone enters combat mode. Roland first uses space distortion to hold the boss. Qin Haoran seizes the moment and uses the roasted chicken to enhance himself again. And so, under their combined assault, the powerful boss is instantly killed at full health. The boss can't believe how easily it was defeated. So it opens the report interface. Reports high-level NPC boosting low-level players and using items of unknown origin. The system receives the report and after verification, deducts 4 karma points from them. After waiting a bit, it asks the system, and then what? The system tells it there is no then. And so, the Guardian of the Fallen Throne dies on the spot. As they continue killing monsters and leveling up, the first squad's levels, except for Dark Current, all reach level 28. Suddenly, he reminds them the Elven Throne is just ahead. No matter what, don't trigger traps like when we first entered. Right after saying this, he receives a combat notification. Roland turns and asks Qin Haoran, can you be more professional? Qin Haoran turns and asks Xiao Yuan, can you be more professional? At this moment, a massive shadow has appeared before everyone. The shadow warns them not to disturb the elves' slumber. If you leave now, I can spare your lives. But Roland says, I think I heard this line from the first boss. So the boss changes its line. Ignorance will lead you to your doom. Come. Mortals, feel my wrath. Qin Haoran feels this is very similar to a game he played before. Isn't this plagiarism? Hearing this, the boss starts frantically thinking thinking of new lines. But Shinharan discovers the mastermind hiding behind, controlling the shadow. Then he easily captures her. But she says she's just a clone. Her master is the kingdom's most powerful elf. After the kingdom fell, only her master survived, guarding the kingdom alone for 1,000 years. Shinharan and the others think if they can catch this living elf, they can report back to Lord Demon King. So they ask where her master is, but she feels unable to say that her master passed away from eating poisonous mushrooms. When they arrive at the elven throne, they discover the boss is actually an S-rank soul form. Even Roland lacks confidence in defeating an S-rank. Shinharan tells him his roasted chickens are gone too, so Roland pulls out the ultimate trap item he brought to ambush the Demon King but never used. Mars quickly senses intruders. She instantly enters berserk mode. The next second, something hits her on the head. Though she doesn't know what it is, if it's on the ground, it must be meant for stepping on, so she steps on it. Seeing this, Shinharan asks about the item's origin. Roland explains this was made using the power of the 4 great demons. It's one of his family's heirlooms passed down through generations. It can deal massive true damage and control effects. The downside is it causes extreme suffering to whoever triggers it. Why would your family pass down such a terrifying thing through generations? Shinharan also feels this trap is somewhat similar to the tea at my house. Meanwhile, Mars, having triggered the trap, feels her strength draining, unable to resist and in great pain. Roland seizes the moment and draws his sword. He activates all his enhancement skills. When he rushes forward, Mars realizes it's a high-level human NPC, but she immediately notices something wrong. Because right now, Roland's appearance looks just like a demon. He continuously attacks the immobilized Mars. This is too much as an NPC bringing a group of low levels to bully someone and using such dishonorable tactics. Shinharan didn't expect Roland at full power to be this strong, truly worthy of being humanity's hope. The elven clone standing nearby is shocked to hear about humanity's hope, because not long ago, a voice showed them a prophecy. It said that after the 2 worlds merge, a hero would appear who could lead players to defeat the Demon King, known as humanity's hope. But Mars, being an S-rank, is no pushover. She quickly breaks free from the trap's restraints, but her HP has already dropped to only 3%. As Roland gracefully delivers the final strike, he slays this S-rank elven soul with the death of the elf's main body. Her clone dissipates along with it, but strangely, no rewards are triggered after the boss's death, and now there's not a single elf left. No way to report back to the Demon King. Finally, they turn their gaze to Mars's main body, which has long since become a dried corpse. If all else fails, they'll just have to carry this back to the Demon King. At this moment, the surrounding environment suddenly changes. Roland recognizes this as the elf's highest ceiling technique, because some mechanism has been triggered and is now being released. Then the door at the back of the hall, sealed for ages, slowly opens. She is Hill, the elven princess who has slept for 1,000 years. When she emerges, she sees her sister Mars has already become a dried corpse and is being carried on the shoulders of a group of humans. She instantly turns back into a stone statue and falls asleep again. So Roland decides to glue her back together for use. At least she's better than the dried corpse they're carrying. The elven princess hears them wanting to remove her clothes to apply glue. She directly detonates herself. The energy produced not only pierces through the ancient elven kingdom, but even penetrates the entire earth. Looking at her now, she seems even worse than that dried corpse. There's no way to report back to Lord Demon King like this. Dark Current behind them draws her dagger, thinking, do we even deserve to see Lord Demon King after failing the mission? I'll kill you all first, then myself. Seeing this, Luju quickly pulls her away to check if there are any survivors. At this moment, Roland suddenly discovers that what's placed at the princess's heart is the elves' true treasure, the Alpha Wisdom Stone. This is what the elven princess truly wanted to destroy with that explosion, and what their clan truly wanted to seal 1,000 years ago. Millions of years of knowledge the elven race has mastered and methods to manipulate elven power are all gathered within it. In other words, obtaining it is equivalent to acquiring elven power, the third force that can rival divine power and magic power. Roland thinks to himself that with this, he can wash away the humiliation he's endured recently. But his outstretched hand is stopped by Shinharan. He asks Roland, shouldn't this be handed over to the Demon King? Shin, aren't you getting too into character? Now that we have an item that can destroy the Demon King, how could we possibly hand it over? After hearing this, Shinharan looks up and laughs, saying he finally understands. He originally thought the Demon King really was just bored and wanted to keep an elf. Turns out he already knew the Alpha Wisdom Stone was here, and he knows that elven power must never be controlled by humans. That's why he had our squad accompany you all the way. As expected, Lord Demon King still has us in his heart. I'm sorry, but I can't give you an item of this level. With this, humanity will have the confidence to stand against the Demon King. When he picks it up, he discovers it's already been switched. The real Alpha Wisdom Stone has already been pocketed by Shinharan, who is now preparing to quietly slip away. Roland realizes at this moment that Squad 1 has finally betrayed them. Baishu throws the roasted chicken like a dart. The target is Roland, humanity's hope. Seeing this, Roland quickly activates his S-rank Divine Power Shield. Although it blocks the fatal attack, he still loses half his HP. The next second, he activates his amplification skill and charges towards Xiao Yuan. Seeing this, Xiao Yuan prepares to summon the roasted chicken artifact. But unexpectedly, Roland's real target isn't her, but Captain Shinhoran behind her, seeing he's already right in front of them. They can only use the roasted chicken artifact I gave them to block. However, due to the huge level gap between them, even with the artifact I gave them, he's beaten down to critical health. Xiao Yuan snaps back and begins to counterattack. She casts a level 4 spark art that deals 788 damage. After enhancement enhancement by the artifact, the damage increases to 8,000. Roland draws his sword and charges forward with a slash. Although he deflects this attack, he knows he can't keep dragging this out and must get the wisdom stone quickly. At this moment, Dark Current comes up behind him and activates backstab, but he detects it in advance, turns around, and blocks it. Shinharan suddenly discovers the wisdom stone is right at Roland's feet, thinking it must have flown out when he was hit just now, so he tells Dark Current to grab the wisdom stone on the ground first. Hearing this, Dark Current changes direction and goes for the stone, but is pushed aside by Roland, just as it's about to fall into Roland's hands. Luju rushes forward with a flying kick, kicking the wisdom stone right in front of Shinharan. Shinharan gets up and flies forward. Just as he's about to grab it, Roland covers his eyes, then pushes him down to the ground, successfully obtaining the wisdom stone. Shinharan can't understand why Roland suddenly teleported here, because Dark Current and Luju's attacks never stopped. But looking again, the target they were attacking has turned into a doll. Turns out Roland used a C-rank class skill that can swap the positions of two objects. Shinharan is about to counterattack when he gets kicked in the face, since Shinharan is usually very harsh on his team members. Everyone who sees this can't blame Roland at all, and even feel quite satisfied. The next second, Roland begins using the power of the wisdom stone. Seeing this, everyone quickly takes out the roasted chicken artifact to block, but under the attack of the S-rank item, the Alpha Wisdom Stone, even the roasted chicken artifact given by Lord Demon King can't withstand it. The strongest squad among human players is actually fighting this desperately for the Demon King. Don't you feel ashamed? Shinharan recalls how Roland used to grovel and please the Demon King, and asks if he's qualified to talk. Roland doesn't answer and summons a portal. Once I bring the Wisdom Stone back to the Justice League, you'll know how foolish it is to join the Demon King's faction. After Roland leaves, Xiao Yuan heals everyone. With such a powerful item falling into enemy hands, this mission is a complete failure. Xiao Yuan fears that going back will enrage me. Seeing the mission failed, Dark Current prepares to kill them first, then commit suicide. Luju notices and explains that the Wisdom Stone's power was too strong. Even multiple roasted chicken artifacts couldn't defeat it. It couldn't be helped. As long as we sincerely present our results, Lord Demon King might forgive us. And so they return to see me with the elven princess's corpse. I look at these stones, puzzled. Is this the elf? Yes, but not entirely, because there's still a bit in the bag. Although the most crucial part is missing, could you perhaps make do? Is this something you can make do with? Shinharan sees I'm angry and thinks they're done for, while Dark Current feels that even when I'm angry, I'm so handsome. Then I slowly turn my gaze to them. What are you talking about? Although I couldn't see what a real elf looks like. Just the thought of bringing me a gift makes me very happy. Seeing I'm not angry, they finally breathe a sigh of relief. I tell them I happen to have learned relevant skills and might be able to fix it. But looking at the chest area, which is most severely damaged, if it can be restored, it shouldn't be a problem. Shinhoran recalls Roland once said the chest and abdomen are where elves accumulate power. To avoid falling into our hands, the elf released all her energy. Doing so means complete death. Her energy and soul have returned to the world's energy flow with the explosion is like a drop of water flowing into the ocean. Retrieving that one drop from the ocean is simply impossible. So he tells me that this time, it really might not be restorable. But at this moment, I remember I casually crafted a chess piece a couple days ago. Let's see if it can substitute. Shinhoran is shocked after hearing this. Then I take the chess piece out of my backpack. Although I can't equip items, level up, or fight, just repairing a doll is right up my alley. At times like this, just follow your heart's intuition. Find that universal key in your heart. All operations can return to basics and simplify complexity. After some searching, I finally find the F key in my heart. As the chess piece is attached, the energy the elf lost begins to gather back into her body, and finally she actually wakes up. But as soon as she opens her eyes, she sees me, thinking, why is the Demon King here? Then she looks down at her own chest. Her once proud F cup has actually become an A. This is even more terrifying than seeing the Demon King. So she falls back into slumber. This time she really doesn't want to wake up again. Don't revive me, please. Shinhoran confirms she definitely just revived. What heaven-defying power is this? Completely changing the rules of energy flow. Simply an omniscient and omnipotent existence. I tell them I really like this doll, but after hearing this, Shinharan is shocked again. He never expected the elven princess coveted by both human and demon factions for 1,000 years would only be fit to be a doll in my hands. After hearing I like dolls, Dark Current instantly understands. The rare and noble elven princess, fallen into the Demon King's hands, can only become a doll to be played with at will. It seems Lord Demon King appears cold but is actually passionate and full of interest inside. She thinks to herself that she must find a way to become such a woman to gain Lord Demon King's favor. After accepting the elven princess, I feel I don't have anything to give in return. The princess playing dead thinks to herself, so these humans are using me to trade with the Demon King. I'd like to hear what could be more precious than me that they'd betray their race to obtain. Then I ask them if they finished the roasted chicken from last time. Shinhoran thinks I'm asking about the roasted chicken's combat power. He says the roasted chicken is simply too amazing. I have some higher grade salt-baked chicken. I'll give you some too. After hearing this, the elven princess's heart sinks. She, a dignified princess, was actually traded for a few chickens, though this chicken does smell quite good. After giving them the chicken, Shinhoran and Dark Current take their leave. Before they came to find me, they split up with Xiao Yuan and Luju, having them directly prepare funeral arrangements. Xiao Yuan happily says she used the money earned this time to buy a cemetery plot in a good location, so even if executed by Lord Demon King, she won't be a wandering ghost. Then Shinhoran tells her the Demon King had no intention of blaming them. Hearing this, Xiao Yuan turns around to go return it, but Luju pulls her back and tells her to keep it for now, since it's the apocalypse, they'll need it sooner or later. Then he asks Shinhoran what exactly happened. Who would have thought the elven princess we desperately brought back was was just a little doll. He was so happy he gave us a full 10 salt-baked chickens. Lu Zhu is stunned to hear he gave 10 new flavored artifacts. His power truly refreshes understanding time and again. It makes one feel that standing with the Demon King faction is just too good. Just now, after Roland returns to the Justice League, he arrives at the conference room. Dick, one of Sky City's 12 counselors, has been waiting for a long time. He takes out the Wisdom Stone and begins his report. But because I just revived the Elven Princess, the stone in his hand disappears along with it. The others present are completely dumbfounded. Could Roland have made a mistake? Impossible. He's humanity's hope. I understand now, this must be something only smart people can see. Yes, that's right, I see it. Very impressive, truly worthy of being humanity's hope. Roland himself can't figure out what's happening. 1 second it was in his hand. How did it suddenly turn into energy and get absorbed? Only Dick knows what's going on and tells everyone around to shut up. The Elven Princess revived. The Alpha Wisdom Stone returning to her hands is perfectly normal. Roland is shocked to hear this. Dick continues, saying he actually monitors the Demon King every moment. I have to say, his daily behavior has no flaws whatsoever. His acting is truly excellent. But the Elven Princess exploded right in front of me. Shattered like that, restoration is simply impossible. There are only 2 possible explanations for this. First, you were played by the Demon King. From the moment you set out into the real world, you've been in the palm of his hand. After hearing this, Roland has nothing to refute. Then the second possibility is that you, humanity's hope, have betrayed humanity. The scene shifts. After they leave, I tell the princess it's just the 2 of us now. She thinks I'm about to do something to her, feeling anxious and uneasy, wondering if she'd have any chance of winning if she fought the Demon King. At this moment, I come over and pat her head, telling her not to be afraid. No one here will hurt you. She thinks to herself, is this really the Demon King? Why is he so gentle? Because elves have the Eye of Truth passive. When she opens her eyes, she sees my truest form. She's instantly frightened into becoming a doll. Meanwhile, in the conference room, with Dick's raised hand signal, a laser net instantly appears and traps Roland. After seeing this, no one dares to move. A generic NPC rushes in saying, Roland is humanity's hope. How could he possibly betray us? But before he finishes speaking, he's hit by a laser. He falls to the ground and loses consciousness. And the one who fired is Dick, one of the 12 counselors. He introduces to everyone the weapon in his hand, the SS rank Divine Artifact Demon Slayer Mark III, bestowed upon us by the deity Moxie. No one can resist the creator's energy. Those hit will have their base code directly modified and displayed. Then he points the gun at Roland. Although some try to dissuade Dick that this isn't appropriate, still no one dares to step forward and stop him. Has Roland, humanity's hope, actually betrayed humanity or not? Let's look at the base code and everything will be clear. At this moment, Bishop Poochie finally can't help but step forward. Dick asks Poochie, aren't you from the war faction like me? Why stand up for Roland from the conservative faction? But ever since Poochie saw the level 84 monster instantly killed by my pet cat in one move, he's no longer from the war faction. Now with Moxie's Demon Slayer weapon, even fighting the Demon King isn't completely hopeless. Then Poochie gives Roland a backward glance and suggests letting Dick personally fight the Demon King, using strength to show the conservative faction their foolishness. After hearing this, Dick feels it does make some sense. So it's happily decided, I'll personally go meet this Demon King and show you, this cowardly hope, what true human spirit looks like. After hearing this, Roland hurriedly tries to dissuade him, saying the Demon King isn't as simple as imagined. But at this moment, Dick won't listen at all. He summons a teleportation array beneath Roland's feet, imprisoning him in the dungeon. Then he announces war against the Demon King. Shut down all shops, trading posts, and all game services in Konkian Safe Zone where I'm located, and evacuate all NPCs from Konkian Safe Zone. Then deactivate the system Divine Artifact Burt Gang. Activate Demon Slayer Mark III Plus aimed at Konkian Safe Zone. Poochie comes over and asks if he really wants to abandon this safe zone. Dick tells him it's practically become the Demon King's final dungeon, why keep it? After hearing this, Poochie thinks to himself this is fine. If they win, he can get his pension back. So Dick confidently begins assembling the army. Even if they can't kill the Demon King, they must take back the elf. And also contact the media to arrange a global broadcast. He wants the whole world to see what true hope should look like. At the same time, I'm just preparing to go out. I tell Bao Bao I'm going to appraise this elven princess. I don't know why she won't turn back into human form no matter what. I'm worried she might be broken and plan to go ask at the shop. Then I tell Bao Bao to guard the house and don't let any rats in. But as soon as I come out, something feels wrong. Looking at the sky, it's so dark. Is it going to rain heavily? Good thing I brought an umbrella when I went out. But when I arrive at the trading post, something feels wrong again. Why are all the shops closed? Could today be a legal holiday? Then I turn and see people starting to flee outside the safe zone, bags and luggage, thinking it must be because today's a holiday and everyone's going out traveling. At this moment, someone fleeing nearby asks me why I'm still standing there. Burt Gang has stopped operating. Run quickly. Hearing this, even the system Divine Artifact is taking a break. This world's benefits are really too good. Suddenly, I see a flyer falling beside me. Looking closely, it's news about a huge drop in housing prices in Kangchian Safe Zone. You have to know I just spent money buying a building in the city center. Just as my heart is sinking, Dick has already led the army to surround me. I see them all looking like they don't come in peace, thinking they want to rob me. At this moment, the elven princess finally wakes up. As soon as she opens her eyes, she sees this scene before her. She thinks to herself, it seems the human and demon factions are about to fight over her again. The tragedy from 1,000 years ago is about to repeat. I tell her not to be afraid and listen to me count to 3. At the count of 1, the army has already entered combat stance. The elven princess thinks I'm about to make my move and tells Dick and the others to run quickly. At the count of 2, Dick and his forces are in an extremely tense state. The elven princess says, am I I such a calamity that I don't deserve happiness? At the count of 3, I turn around and bolt, taking the completely dumbfounded elven princess with me. His subordinates are about to chase when Dick stops them. He thinks this is a trick I'm using. But as I'm running, I accidentally trip and fall. He's even more convinced this is a trap, but in the end he still steals himself and tries to capture me. He can't understand why it could be this easy. But even after capturing me, no one dares to search me for the wisdom stone. Meanwhile, the elven princess who was dropped during my escape observes from the side. She can't understand why, when I clearly possess invincible power. I'm not making any counterattack. Even her eye of truth can't see my level. She can't figure out what I'm trying to do. At this moment, Dick finally can't take it anymore. He tells me to hand over that elf. Only then do I realize their target is that elf. So I ask him how much he's willing to pay. This statement directly shocks everyone present. The elven princess didn't expect I'd actually sell her. Dick even less expected I would sell the elf, but I have no idea of the elf's value, thinking she's just a figurine Shin Haran gave me. I breathe a sigh of relief, so they just came to buy a figurine. But Dick thinks this is too abnormal. There must be something fishy. You have to know this is a priceless treasure, a powerful force that can destroy balance and surpass divine artifacts. So he's now convinced I'm pretending to be captured, and unlike Roland, he won't be led by the nose. So he firmly tells me he won't pay a single coin. After hearing this, I'm stunned for a moment. I ask him if he wants to freeload like those people who watch videos without liking them. Then I turn my gaze to a soldier nearby, asking if he also wants that elf doll. How could he not want it? After hearing his answer, I immediately ask how much he's willing to pay. This scene is being broadcast live on the global channel. People all over the world are quietly watching. After thinking for a while, the soldier says his monthly salary is 13 gold coins. His current savings are 430 gold coins. If down payment plus loan payment methods are supported, he can accept a price around 1,200 gold coins. After he finishes speaking, I loudly ask if there are any higher prices. This statement shocks everyone present again. You bastard, do you think this is an auction? But immediately the others around start bidding higher. The elven princess didn't expect these humans would actually start bidding. Just in this short time, all the soldiers' hostility has completely shifted. Could it be that everything before was all within the Demon King's plan?